Coach, we'll let you open with your thoughts on the upcoming Super Regional, and then we'll open up for questions.
Yeah, we're excited, and we're very knowledgeable of Florida State and vice versa. So it's a lot of offensive explosiveness coming our way. A lot of very good base running, and they've had good success with their pitching, good enough to win games. So this is going to be a challenge without question. Our offense is going to have to step forward.
Ryan Aber and then Mason Young.
Yeah, Patty, I want to start off asking about a piece of that offense, and that's Riley at the bottom of the order, what she's brought. How have you seen sort of her progression and the way that she sort of embraced that role, near the bottom of the order, and that, not everybody can handle that?
Yeah, she's done a great job with it, for sure. She's always been kind of like the bridesmaid, like I moved her up to the 7-hole because we're just not having that great production down there quite right at this moment. So this is the best offensive numbers that she's had since she's been here, and I think she's just having a lot of fun with it. So when she comes to the plate, you don't have any idea what she's doing. She'll shuffle step, and you're like, what was that? And she'll lay down a bunt, beat you out, and it's really fun to watch, but she's having a lot of fun with it. So I think it's just kind of her own celebration.
Alyssa talked a little bit about just the difficulty of defending her from her position just out there in practice, with being able to lay down the bunt and then put it in a gap, things like that.
Mm-hmm.
How dangerous is that? Somebody who can do, the wide variety of things.
Yeah, she's dangerous enough that if you're a defender, you're afraid you're going to get hurt, because she can take it really hard at you, pull it. She has a really good knack for hitting the ball where it's pitched instead of really trying to pull it, or she's always late. She really puts it where it needs to go. And with that, she also slides in that bunt. She can soft slap it, beat it out. She probably shows you 2 or 3 different looks at the plate where she does this new shuffle thing. Is a trip. It's hard to understand but if she makes contact, she'll knock your head off with it, because it's very, very powerful. But it's just something we brought into the fold, and a couple of our players are trying to use it. But it's been really a joy to watch her kind of really step up to the limelight. Not that she's been looking for it, but it's found her.
Appreciate that.
Patty, Alyssa talked about, you obviously mentioned the familiarity. There's a lot of similarities between you all. What do you see some of those being between the Sooners and the Seminoles, and how much does that familiarity help going into this one, having played each other so much?
I think it helps both teams. You know exactly what you're getting versus having to really research. I think both teams have significant elders. I know some of these names by heart because we've played them so much. So there's good leadership on both sides. There's an elderly roster for both teams who have been there and done that. So there's no surprises, nothing new. They hit the ball hard. We hit the ball hard. There's kind of trade-offs, right? Like might hit a few extra home runs where they will maybe steal a few extra bases. So there's trade-offs on both sides, but top to bottom, they're very explosive, and they do the same thing. They'll drop a bunt at any time, and they keep you guessing. They're hard to defend, and we've got to be ready for them to take the extra bag. And if the ball is hit to center field on the ground, they'll go from first to third. They don't care if it's Jada Coleman or not. That's how they're trained. That's how they move. So they're going to challenge us to play good defense.
You think the team more or less, relishes that challenge to kind of play someone with a similar style and similar stature?
I do. I think they get up for it a little bit more, especially because we've known each other and we know what it's going to look like. But more than anything, it's the winner goes to the World Series. So, doesn't matter really who's on the other side right now.
Jesse, then Bob.
Hey, Patty, I wanted to ask you about Sydney. Obviously, someone who's had big moments both last year and this year, but maybe when she's having some struggles at the plate, just maybe what's key for her, just in terms of maybe refinding that rhythm.
Get it out of her head and stop thinking or letting it, it's just body language. You could see that she's mad at herself, and then it just kind of sinks in. She's got 40 walks, which is unbelievable. So she is finding her way on base. And I'm saying, when she swings a bat, if it's a swing and miss, you hear the crowd going, ooh, ooh. I mean, she's got the swing. It's just not clicking for her right now. And it's not us saying, okay, well, you go sit over here right now till we call on you. She's too good at first. She really has a great glove at first. I'm trusting in that. Same thing with Alina. She's putting the ball in play, but it's a little too routine, and I know she knows she's better than that. So both of them are getting a little aggravated with themselves and maybe trying too hard, and then letting it kind of sink in. So we gotta shake that, and we're gonna work on trying to do that in the next couple of days.
Well, you mentioned Alina, and I know she got some time at first. I know her and Avery have got some time at second. And just, does that help with maybe lineup options or versatility in terms of what they can all do? And is there maybe a focus even on the defensive part of it too for them, in terms of maybe that helps their offense too?
Yeah, possibly. Avery has just been fighting all year to try to get in and get opportunity, and she showed a lot of fire this last weekend, and I really like that about her. And one thing that she gives us is the ability to run, so she can beat things out. She can cause a little bit of chaos in that way. Sid is good at first. Alina is good at first and second. Avery's very good at second. So I know they wish that it was like cut and dry, but they all match up differently for different pitchers. And that's really what it's about. And who could have the best success. Just like you put a good pitcher on the mound who could have the best success against a team that's not good with rise balls. So you try to find what can have the best success. And sometimes it's one of them, sometimes it's not. But yeah, we need some clicking going on in that bottom of the lineup.
On Sunday, you mentioned how Kirsten Deal really wanted to get a chance to go out there. That we've got accustomed to her always being at least one of the three starters. Did you have to have any added conversations with her since then?
I think Coach Rocha had a conversation with her today, but they know this is part of what they've been taught, is certain pitchers are very successful against certain kinds of swings. So Nicole May knows that she doesn't match up for certain teams as well. They all know that. There's some who have a repertoire of pitches that can work against anyone. So I think obviously you want to get in there, so there might be a little disappointment, but she's smart enough to know why we did it.
Jenny, then Ryan Chapman.
Patty, I was asking Alyssa about the senior class and what role they played to help this team get to the point of playing really great softball at this point in the season. And she talked about how they sort of had to accept the fact that it was going to be hard, and they had to sort of sit in that and allow themselves to be okay with that. Have you sensed that or something else out of your elders, as you called them, as it relates to just getting this team to the place it is right now?
It has been challenging. It's the fourth time that we've gone through this ringer. If it was up to this team or the elders, they would want to skip the fall and have a training camp in January for 6 weeks, 4 weeks, and then play a shortened season to get to where we are right now, because they live for postseason, and that's what the most fun is, and it means something, and you're chasing something now, and you're looking for that trophy like everybody else. So right now we're in the chase like everyone else, and I think they just want to be thought of sometimes like everyone else, and not put up here in this place, and let's just play our game.
Do you think they had to accept that it might not be a cakewalk? Did they have to sort of come to terms with the fact that, you know, there might be some downtimes, there might be losses that they weren't expecting? Do you think they had to sort of, because 10 and a group that has so much success, do you think they had to sort of look at that a little differently maybe than they expected to?
Yeah, maybe. I mean, every team gets a chance to have a lull, and we don't, seems like. And we've had them, and we've come out of it. Maybe we've had a little one again, but we come out of it. And that, I know this sounds corny, but it's just kind of like life, right? If we just keep living here and nothing challenges us, it's boring. It is. Run rules are boring. I don't know that they're good for anyone, especially us, because we lose innings, we lose opportunities for players to get in for at-bats. What's good for us is what we did with Oregon on Sunday. That's good for us. It challenges us. And that's what life is about, you know, and that's what I want them to understand. Because sometimes one of our players said, "This is the hardest thing I'm ever going to do in my life." I'm like, yeah, no. But that's how they feel sometimes. And and her feelings are valid because it feels that way. It's so much coming at us that, you know, I guess a lot of it is expectation, and a lot of it is like, why can't I swing like I was swinging last year? What's wrong with me? Why can't I get this? And just, you know, we just feel like we're chasing all the time, and all eyes are like waiting for us to trip up. So, I mean, they're the good, hard-fought games. I think the game against Oklahoma State on Sunday led us right into the Big 12 tournament. The game against Texas was something that felt really good for them. And this weekend, we didn't swing our best, but we fought hard enough, and our pitchers threw well enough. And so you saw a team come together. And we still haven't played. They'll tell you, we have not played our best softball yet. And that is what their goal is, make sure we don't leave the field without doing that.
Patty, you mentioned earlier a lot of veteran faces on Florida State that you know. Just like you, they've got a handful of really talented freshmen. What have you seen from Beecham Lee in the lineup and then the lefty in the circle?
Yeah. They have a freshman that can swing it, and they have some young ones that can really run too. A couple of our young players are familiar with Dan Lee, their lefty, because of travel ball. She's done a really good job for them. I know they've had injuries and so forth, but she's tricky, changes speeds. We're just really going to get prepared. They have 5 or 6 on their roster, and you just have to get prepared for all of them.
This being 3 of the last 4 years, you've met them in a series setting in the post. Does it almost feel like a conference series because you are playing series against them instead of just one-offs?
No, not really. I just almost now, sometimes you just expect, you're thinking, certainly you're not going to do this, and then it happens. You're like, of course I knew this was going to happen. So the dream team of ESPN is here. I mean, it's all lined up for great television. It's nighttime games. So people want to see it. They want to see the two, knowing one of you are not going to be at the World Series and one of you are. And that's worth watching because we're both going to fight to the end.
Daniel and Colton.
Patty, Ella, and Cassidy have had great starts to their postseason career so far. Can you just talk about what they've meant to this team and this offense this year?
They're kind of cool about it, you know. They're very mature. They're kind of quiet. They don't say a lot. They just do their job. I really enjoy watching them from the third base coaching box because I can see them kind of talking to themselves after a take, you know. Pickering is very like, oh, no, didn't like that. I had that. You know, they're talking out loud, and I'm reading their lips. I'm like, as long as you know what you're doing, I'm just going to stay out of this. And Ella can do it. Ella can make some faces, you know, like, I missed that opportunity. But it's just kind of setting them, you know, it's just kind of settling them, I think, because, I mean, before the pitch crosses the plate, Pickering's like, oh, no, 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 no. And like, okay, I just, there's a maturity. They just, in the locker room, they don't say a whole lot. They do listen, but they're hard workers and they're smart players. And what a group of young freshmen to build a foundation off of as we go into the SEC. So I'm really looking forward to that.
Patty, it's been a couple days now, but how big was Sunday for Nicole?
Huge, yeah. She was a good matchup for them. Nicole has gone to another place now. There's a place where you want your seniors specifically, because you want them to leave it all on the field and say, I did all that I could. And I think some of them get in a place where, oh my God, I gotta be better. Nicole has found this place. I could see it in her eyes and her mannerisms, and we feel really confident with where she's at.
Last one for Ryan Avery.
Yeah, Patty, I want to go back to the shuffle thing that you talked about with Riley. Where did that come from? Was it JT? Was it you?
Yeah, it's JT. I don't exactly know where he saw it, but it might be somewhere in baseball somewhere, because he likes to, you know, he looks at things a lot. And so he said, hey, you guys just try this. And Avery was doing it, Boone was doing it, Jada was doing it, and Pickering was doing it a little bit, and they were hitting balls like shots. So it's just, we're waiting for one to happen in real time. But it's hard to know what you're doing. It's like a Happy Gilmore swing. It's just, you know, it really is. So you're like, where's she going? What is she doing? It's not a typical slap motion, but, and you're not slapping it. I mean, you are gonna drive it. If your timing is right, you're going to absolutely annihilate the ball. And they do it at practice, and the infield is, as soon as they start to shuffle, they're just frozen. Like, oh God, please don't hit it to me or near me. So we'll see where it goes. I mean, it's new, it's somewhat new, so they're still trying to perfect it.
Yeah. Appreciate it.
Yep.
Thank you, Coach.
Thank